Welcome, May 19th, 2022. The latest IRCC news and important immigration announcements for Canada as of May 2022. Hi, I'm Reza from Ingwe Immigration. We're a licensed immigration firm here in Canada that helps applicants from over 47 countries process their applications for anywhere inside of Canada. Today, we're going to cover the most important immigration updates across the country, both federal, provincial, and regional programs. Here's a quick snapshot of what's happened in the immigration world for Canada, latest updates, which we will dive into details for one or two of the most important aspects right after this quick summary. So proof of settlement funds has been updated by the Canadian government, specifically for the express entry applicants. So if you're applying or if your application is in process or you will be receiving an ITA when things start up again in July, you need to follow this table. There's rumors of a backlog of 2.1 million applications with the Canadian government IRCC, which has still to be processed. These are rumors. But this is obviously what's happening. Express entry drawers for both federal skilled workers overseas and CEC Canadian Experience Class for applicants inside or outside of Canada will resume as of July of this year. Express entry drawers for provincial nominees are still continuing to be done on a monthly basis. And as everyone already knows, PR application fees have increased as of the end of April for IRCC to adjust for inflation. Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program Office went to Hong Kong for a recruitment mission to attract entrepreneurs for its business immigration program. IEC, the International Experience Class, which is also known as the Working Holiday, processing times changed from 4 weeks to 5 weeks as of May 18th. 6,250 nominations were allocated by the Canadian federal government to the Alberta Provincial Office for their nominations related to their provincial programs, of which 900 will be allocated for the Alberta Opportunity Stream and 775 for the whole year will be allocated for the Alberta Express Entry Stream. As of May 1st, the Alberta government lifted all restrictions on hiring new temporary phone workers from overseas to help employers meet their workforce needs, because there were restrictions on specific occupations, a lot of them in hospitality. Well, the Alberta government has removed these refusal to process lists, which had been created to prioritize jobs for unemployed Albertans due to pandemic, but now they realize, okay, if somebody's really unemployed, they're not looking for a job because there's more employers looking for employees or people to hire than there are unemployed people. The Ontario Provincial Program invited French-speaking skilled workers from Express Entry last month with CRS scores of minimum 460 and above. Prince Edward Island PEI had a provincial draw both for business immigration and employer job offer stream and its express entry with 141 total invitations issued. Minimum number of points was 67 for the investor stream, which has been similar in the past few months. Travel restrictions to Canada have been updated that if you do test positive for COVID or show symptoms on arrival, you will be forced to do a mandatory 10-day quarantine, even if the province you're visiting or residing in does not have those requirements. These are federal regulations which have been updated. So you can arrive at the airport, show no symptoms, do a COVID test because they pick you randomly, and after a few days, if you were tested positive, you need to go into quarantine and isolation, even after you've left the airport. The Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program, SINP, had a draw on May 5th, inviting both express entry profiles and in-demand occupations with a minimum score of 85. as per their provincial points matrix. This is not a federal program. Approximately 198 candidates were invited for PR for both streams, plus the Ukrainian special stream, and they were all occupation specific except the Ukrainians. So these were all NOC 0A or B. And remember, Saskatchewan provincial occupation list is based on an exclusion list for eligibility. So if you're checking if your occupation is on the approved list, there is no approved occupation, only an exclusion list. So be careful when you're checking your eligibility. The Manitoba provincial program also had a draw this month, inviting 315 eligible applicants, both from inside of Canada and overseas skilled workers with a minimum score of 60. From inside of Canada, 651 points for skilled worker stream. Outside Canada, minimum score 691 for skilled workers. And they had the international education stream draw as well on May 5th. The New Brunswick provincial nominee express entry stream included some more clarity on its program, which we will clarify later in this video. They announced it on their website. And Alberta had a draw inviting 250 candidates with valid express entry profiles with specific occupations with a minimum score of 356. Candidates for this program with ties to Alberta, such as immediate family, job offer, or they speak English, French, and are in specific occupations which the province is prioritizing, and or international students who've graduated and are willing to locate to Alberta and have the skills that Alberta needs would be on their priority list to be invited. So if you just have 356 points and think Alberta will invite you, that's not going to happen. Obviously, that would mean they would have to invite 50,000 or 30,000 people that are stuck in the express entry with those many points. And there you have it. And who said there were no immigration updates in the past 3 to 4 weeks? Well, there you have it, folks. We're going to cover 2 of these updates in more detail because they're significant or they're very highly sought after. So one is the proof of funds required for express entry applicants. And remember, the minimum funds for one person was updated by the Canadian government recently from 13,213 Canadian dollars to 13,310. This is not at all a big change since inflation by the Canadian government has been announced as over 6%, and these adjustments are significantly lower. So it is beneficial for overseas applicants or new immigrants who are planning to come and settle through the Express Entry program. If you're 2 persons, it's 16,570 Canadian dollars versus 16,449. And again, if you're watching YouTube or you're reading this article that we're going to post later on our website, you can look at the table that we're posting below to check the exact number of family members and the minimum settlement funds required. And remember, from the date you receive the ITA to the date you land in Canada, you need to show those liquid funds, whether it's in your own account or if it's a joint account with your spouse who's coming with you, or if it's in her account or his account, your spouse's, and they are joining you and you have access to it through a power of attorney. Okay, so let's cover another major update by New Brunswick's Student Connection Express Entry stream. So a lot of people have been asking over the last 6, 7, 8 months about this program. There was a lot of vagueness because there was no clarity on their website. Well, in the past month, they have updated their website to clarify this specific program. This is a very popular program. That's why a lot of people want to go to New Brunswick and study. Basically, it does not require any job offer, any work experience inside of Canada, and you can be an international student who's enrolled in a public post-secondary school there and has not yet graduated. That's why it's popular. So here's some clarity on this program. And again, it's called the New Brunswick Student Connection Express Entry Stream. It's not a new program. It's relatively new, correct? It was announced that it would be released. It was announced last year. However, there's more clarity this year than there was originally. And I'm pretty sure they probably received a whole bunch of emails and they don't want to answer them, so they just posted it on their website. There are two other substreams in this specific provincial program in New Brunswick. Those are for job offers and for skilled workers overseas. But for today, we're just covering the student connection substream for New Brunswick Express Entry. This is what you need. A valid Express Entry profile, which basically means you need work experience, language ability, and an educational credential assessment, ECA, if you studied overseas and have not completed a program inside of Canada. And don't worry if you can't meet the Express Entry eligibility criteria, since there's other immigration substreams in New Brunswick which allow you to apply if you don't have high language scores or perhaps that work experience. Okay, you should be residing in New Brunswick and have graduated in the past 6 months or less from a public institution, or you're about to complete your studies in New Brunswick at one of the public schools post-secondary. And in case you apply for this program 3 months before you graduate, if you're in an undergraduate program, so as 3 months before you graduate, you're eligible to apply. Or if you're studying in a master's PhD thesis-based program, you can submit your application as soon as you've submitted your thesis for evaluation. So these are all before graduation, and these are all for public post-secondary institutions in New Brunswick, not anywhere else. The minimum duration for any program while you're staying there should be 1 year to be eligible for this program. As soon as you meet the required eligibility criteria, you can email the provincial nominee office at New Brunswick with your eligibility documents and your Express Entry valid profile ID number. And don't worry if you've studied online from overseas. If you travel to the province, you can still be eligible to apply if you're residing there now. And remember, you don't need any work experience in Canada for this program. You need to intend to continue to stay in New Brunswick and live there when they invite you and when you process your PR application. And you do need minimum settlement funds, as we discussed before, since it's an Express Entry stream. So remember, the table for settlement funds for Express Entry has been updated as of 2022. So you ask, what's the difference between this program and why should I care about New Brunswick and the Student Connection Express Entry stream? The key difference is that you do not need to have graduated yet or found a job if you're an international student studying in the province at a public school. So that was the quick update. We do handle admissions to New Brunswick public and colleges and universities if you need help with that. If you are inside Canada or planning to apply from outside, click our free assessment link below on this YouTube video or our bio page on Instagram or Facebook. We will assist you throughout the entire process. Remember, we're a licensed firm in Canada and we have a dedicated immigration and education team who speaks over 8 languages. We can assist with PR applications, work permits, study permits, no matter if you're planning to apply for business or investment immigration, studying as an international student, or joining your family in an open spousal work permit. We're here to help no matter which province or region you plan to settle in. And if you have questions, remember, we're here every Thursday for a YouTube live session at 9:30 a.m. North America Eastern Time, where you can come and ask your question and we answer it live. And that's what we're going to go to now, is our live questions on YouTube. I do apologize, we won't be able to answer live questions on Instagram or Facebook, but on YouTube, of course, we're here and we've got some questions, folks. Thank you. Let's see. Channel is asking, I've been refused for a study permit twice. Yes, I remember Channel before when my LOA was at a college in Toronto and reason of refusal was lack of finances. I have been accepted to a university in Halifax, and I just wanted to ask, would applying for a study permit at a DLI in Nova Scotia instead of GTA improve my chances of acceptance, as Nova Scotia are very permissive when it comes to immigration? Channel, I'll tell you right now, don't bother paying $150. You will be refused, because changing programs and universities after you've been refused twice will not help you specifically. So save your money, save your time, and And I'm just giving you the heads up, you're going to be refused. It doesn't matter anymore after 2 refusals what you're going to study, okay? Artist thing, that's the handle name here. Hi Reza, why study permit processing varies from embassy to embassy? People in India getting their passport requests as usual, whereas Bangladesh applications are still getting decision as of November. RPRCS is via Singapore. Our processing is via Singapore. Yeah, so countries, it's very normal that countries where the applications are not processed in the country itself for temporary resident permits like study permits, visitor visas, work permits, there will be delays. So I know, for example, Bangladesh, Nepal, these are places where other embassies outside the country process your application. Same with Middle East. The Turkish embassy handles multiple other countries, and those countries are always at a disadvantage, and it's significantly slower. So it's a reality. Nothing can be done about it, and that's what it is. Anil Reddy Chef says, hi Reza, how's your health now? Great, thank you Anil, good to see you. I hope you're in Canada by now. Samir Salam says, hi sir, I have a question about my visa. Okay, hi Samir. Hi, it's me again. Can you please answer my question? I get a letter from IRCC 10 days ago say that there's a decision made about my work permit application. I did give my password to the visa office in Rabat. Well, it means it's approved, Samir. What's the question? It's approved. That's the letter. They want your passport to look at it and to stamp it. Congratulations. That's good news. Sean says, hi Reza. Hi Sean. Angelina says, how long does study permit process take for Africa? You're looking at minimum 3 months. Minimum. Samir, unless, maybe if you're going through the Nigerian Student Express process, could be less than 3 months, but I haven't seen anything less than 2 months from Africa. Samir Salam said, but I didn't receive anything from them until now. It's possible to refuse my application. No, Samir, they're just slow. You've been approved, unless there's something wrong with your passport. Skill set. I like that handle. I wanted to ask whether the new IRCC portal has faster processing times. Yes, relatively, and you should be using the IRCC processing portal, the new ones. Well, they're not very new because they were announced last September 2021, but you should be using those. Don't use the old stuff. Okay. Hiroshi Handa, hi Reza, we are interested in immigration through real estate by flipping houses. Is it possible a minimum investment if federal program or provincial? More details please. Yeah, Hiroshi, it is possible, but not the way you're thinking, passive. So watch our YouTube video. I don't know if you've, I don't know, Edgar has to let me know if you've released it or not. Oh yeah, we have. So the video mentions in our YouTube series that if you just want to sit at home and invest in property and do nothing, no, you cannot get immigration papers that way. But if you set up a business that is specifically flipping or processing homes, so you can't say flipping homes because it means there's nothing being done, but let's say you buy them, you renovate them, or you build them, or you do something with them, right? And there's multiple projects and it's a business and you have employed Canadians, could be your family members in Canada, who knows, right? That would be possible, federal, but more than provincial, okay? But just buying and selling like the stock market, that's not going to get you immigration papers. It's possible, but it's not going to give you an investor work permit. Reach out to us at info@ingwe.ca. Mention this YouTube video, mention our conversation. We can get you more details and we'll check your eligibility, because if you don't have an eligible profile, we're not going to waste your time or money. Channel, so this is it. I just cannot get accepted no matter what for a study permit after 2 reviews. No, you can channel, but it's just the way you approach it is different. You can't just change programs and expect the officer. You have to be ready to appeal. You have to prepare for a fight in federal court and address all their previous refusal reasons. These are the issues. We discussed this in our previous live channel. Samir Salam says, no, nothing is wrong with my passport. How can I track my application? There's no way to track after you've given your passport. They will send it to you. You will get an approval letter. As soon as it's stamped, you will get an approval letter online. It could take 2 weeks. It could take 6 weeks. It really does. There's no guarantee. Each embassy is different. Istiola Jeremiah. Nice, I like that name. Hi Reza, how long does student permit take in Nigeria? If you're going to the student express stream for Nigeria, I would say it can be done 2.5 months. If you're not, it can take over 3 months. Eric Blamodo, hi Rena, how long does the family class spouse outside of Canada? 1 year to 15-16 months, depending if the application is correctly done and there's no doubts or suspicions by the officer who's reviewing it, i.e. interviews and so forth. Angelina says, what if you don't have properties? Would this be a reason for denial? No, not necessarily, Angelina. They want to see ties to your home country. So you don't need to have a own property, but you need to have employment, family members, maybe other assets, right? Maybe shares in a company. But again, it's not mandatory. Maybe you've had travel experience. So imagine, Angelina, you've got somebody who has travel experience to Europe or US or Australia, good employment, has funds, family ties to your country, no property. They would be approved. So it's not mandatory to have property. Although it helps, it's not mandatory. Seb Gatula Hamidi. Hello, Seb Gatula Hamidi. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. I have worked in a 6-month project of Canada and Afghanistan. Am I eligible for immigration? Only details of Canadian supervisor is missed. Basically, you have to look at the specific Afghanistan stream, Seb Gatula, because we don't handle those. Those are very specific government streams where they check and make, and specific Afghans are eligible for those programs. So I don't have information on that. I apologize. Samir Salam says, can you please give us more information about the process of stamping visas in passports so everyone could understand this last phase before unclidding me. Yeah, so basically you receive a request letter for your passport. That's the first step when they want to approve you. If you are refused, they don't send you that letter. They send you a refusal letter. When you send the passport to the VAC center or the embassy, depending on the country you're in, they will take anywhere from, I've seen 1 week in some places, and I've seen 8 weeks in some places, where they will review your passport details, check the pages, stamp it, and then when it's stamped and sent back, an approval letter is sent for you, which says you've been approved for, let's say, the work permit or study permit or for example, visitor visa. Okay, and then you will receive your passport back from the VAC center or the embassy, and you will have your visa stamp in it, right? In some cases, pre-COVID, they would not stamp it if you had a valid visitor visa already, but I've seen them do it even though you have valid visitor visa sometimes. So it's it varies depending on the embassy. They're not really organized. So I just want to mention this to everyone, folks. IRCC is not organized. Okay, so if you think they've got these fancy systems, fancy databases, and fancy people, no, you're wrong. They're not organized. They don't know what they're doing. And if you ask them what their name, what the other department is doing or the other embassy, they have no clue. So you are at their mercy. Not that I'm saying they're bad people. Great, they're Canadians. They're doing their best effort to process a lot of applications. It's just very disorganized and sometimes very secretive, right? So you gotta be careful with that. So Sheikh Mohammed, how are you? Sheikh, nice to see you on our YouTube. Hi Raza, what about RNIP? Is a program to consider? RNIP, Regional Northern Immigration Pilot. Great program. You do need a job offer. You do need a certificate, like a letter of support from the community there. So there's a lot of additional steps. If you don't have an existing contact in that community, forget it. If you do, yeah, it would be. Yeah, so the real estate video, I think we just posted it in the chat, Hiroshi Handa, in case you want to see that real estate video. Let's see. I have recently applied for Canada. How much time? So Seb Gatula Hamidi, how long does it take for an application to get a response? It depends on the application. If it's PR, visitor visa, work permit, study permit, it can range from 2 months to multiple months, even years sometimes. Samir Salam says, because I don't have access to my account, company's lawyers does. Okay, that's fine, Samir. Just keep in touch with your lawyer or your representative. Kigo Joseph, hi sir. I am Ugandan. I applied from Uganda. I had come back from my vacation from Qatar almost 2 years, but I was caught up with time. I had to travel back to Qatar this week. Okay, you gotta continue with. Is it true Canada doesn't consider Gulf countries as travel history? Because I have been in India and Qatar. 100% true, Kigo. So I'll tell you this. It doesn't consider these countries which don't accept asylum seekers as real travel history. Travel history from the point of view of Canada and most of the Western countries is Europe, UK, Australia, New Zealand, US, Canada, maybe Japan, but those are the main ones, okay? However, if you do travel to Qatar, India, and you're refused at the border for entry, they will consider that negatively on the application. But just traveling to those places, no, it's useless. I mean, it's nice. I travel, but it won't help you with immigration to these countries, especially on a temporary resident. Remember, folks, when you apply for a PR, okay, they don't care if you've been refused 100 times, as long as you've announced it, right? So that's why we're helping a lot of our applicants apply for like an investor work permit or come and set up a business or buy a business here, because sometimes those are easier. Or if you've got an express entry profile, it's a PR. They don't care about your refusals, right? Or if you do a job offer, right? You can come through a provincial program or Atlantic program, and it's PR. So again, if you've been refused 100 times for visitor visa, as long as you declare it, nobody cares. It's not going to affect you. But if you are applying for temporary residency like study permit, visitor visa, work permit, then your refusals, your travel history is 100% important. If you're doing PR, it's not important. Hi Reza, Adnan Syed says, hi Reza, how are you doing? IRCC is having a lot of backlogs and delaying 5-6 months in Bangladesh. Do you know when it will be normal? No, I don't think it will be normal this year, Adnan. I don't think you should have any expectation of normalization for the next 1 year. Samir Salam says, thank you very much, no problem. Folks, when I'm answering your questions or saying your name, just press a like button. That would be appreciated. Otherwise, I'll be fired, okay? Literally, the company will fire me if I don't get 20 likes on these YouTube videos while I'm live. So let's press those buttons. If you have a problem with your mouse, tell me, I'll buy you a new mouse. If you have a problem with your keyboard, tell me, I'll buy you a new keyboard. Let's press those like buttons, folks. Let's get active, proactive, right? Channel says, yes, but I have addressed the reasons of refusal for last time. I was only lacking the documentation regarding the origin of my funds, and now I have the documentation for it. So it's good, Channel. So the point is, whether you apply for Nova Scotia or Toronto, the key is addressing those previous issues and being ready to appeal, okay? It's not about changing programs. Sheikh Mohammed says, I'm good, good. Channel says, I just wanted to know whether changing LOI would affect my application. No, not necessarily for that specific case that you're talking about. Eric Blamo Do says, thank you. What can I do if said time expires? Eric, I forgot your question. Hold on. Eric, how long does the family cost spousal outside Canada? Okay. So Eric, what can I do if my said time expires? You can just send web forms. There's not much you can do. Spousals, usually we see 12 months processing. If it wasn't processed properly, you can send a web form. However, it means they're looking at it in more detail. So you could be stuck in IRCC limbo. That's what we're going to call it. And this would be a good video, Edgar. We could call it IRCC limbo. Are you in IRCC limbo? We should do that. So that's a good idea. Autist Thing says another thing. In IMM 1294 from form, instead of 1 year tuition, I put whole 3 years, advanced diploma in Seneca, annual. Should I raise web form? Nah, it's not worth it, Otis. You should put 1 year, but it's not worth sending a web form for. I think the officer's not even going to bother. Shan says, hi Reza, can you give me your email address, please? Hi Shan. Can you, I think, are we in touch already? Just send an email through our website, okay? Go into our contact page and I will see those messages, okay? Or just send a general one to our main email and I'll see that too. info@ingwe.ca, or just go through our website. Otis thing says, I requested for GCMS notes before getting decision on study. Yeah. Study permit. Okay. Yeah. Otis thing, what were you asking about? Oh, Bangladesh, was it? Hold on, because there's a lot of questions and I'm going through them pretty quickly. Otis thing, Otis thing. For the study permit. Okay, yeah, you're not gonna see any GCMS notes until there's a decision. Okay, it's not like a PR application, which is in progress. It's either there's notes, there's a decision, or there's no notes, there's no decision. Okay. Speech and language therapy profession. Hi, sir. Hi. Samuel Salam says, I did give a like when you started talking before when you answered my question because I like you and your channel. Thanks, Samir. I appreciate it. We've got 16 likes, folks. We need 4 more likes. Okay? We need 4 more likes. Kigo Joseph. That means I have less chance because in Uganda, we are worked on at Kenya or Tanzania. Yes, you are not processing your own country, but it doesn't matter about your travel history to Qatar or India where it's being processed. The point is, if you've got a good profile, Kigo, I don't know if it's a visitor visa, study permit, or work permit, but travel history, ties to home country, financials, assets, employment, income, family, all these things are going to be considered. So it's not just because your file is being processed not in your home country, but it's about your profile. The embassy doesn't matter. They all look at similar things. Your ties are in Qatar and Uganda. Yeah, I mean, it's not great, to be honest with you, Kigo. If you have great ties in Qatar, you should be a resident of Qatar, right? Because I think they have a golden visa there too, and apply from Qatar, right? If you don't have any ties in Uganda, I would say that your profile would be refused. We've got 18 likes, folks. Thank you. I think those are all the questions for today, May 19th, 2022. It was great seeing a lot of you online interacting with us on YouTube. And remember, we're here every Thursday, no matter what. Rain, snow, shine, pandemic, no pandemic, Christmas, no Christmas, you name it. We're here every Thursday, 9:30 a.m. If you think this can be of any use for any of your friends or family, you can share our link. And if you're asking any question related to Canadian immigration, we're here to answer it live if it's within our capacity, right? And we are licensed here in Canada, so we are allowed to do that. So 2 more questions before we go. Speech and language therapy profession. Sir, I've applied from Bangladesh. It's been 2 months now. Why is it taking so long? 2 months is nothing. Okay, so you should be expecting 3 or 4 months at least. Ankit Gupta, hello sir. When can we expect announcement of work permit extensions? I think within the next 2 months. So June, July, you're definitely going to hear about it. Shan says, okay, Reza, thanks. Shan, send us an email through our website or info@ingwe.ca. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Take care. I'm just going to end the stream now. Appreciate everyone joining us today. Take care now.